Well, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for being here. We appreciate it very much, and many thanks to our panel today. It's intended to be, as Marty said, a casual conversation. You're free to move about your chair over the course of this discussion and relax accordingly. But thank you for each of you bringing your unique perspective to what we'd like to chat about. I think Marty gave us a great introduction. As she described it, our previous idea to impact, we've talked a lot about how do you elevate a culture where creativity and innovative ideas and divergent and breakthrough thinking becomes more of a norm than an outlier. And now, I think today we'd really like to focus on what happens next. How do you take an idea, how do you pressure test it? How do you, as she said, make it fail as quickly as possible so you can begin to add value to it as quickly as possible? How do you build a value proposition around that? And most importantly, how do you go from that sort of creative dreamer stage, if you will, to that execution and entrepreneurial stage? Because as Marty's indicated, ECU is very interested in having this culture of innovation and entrepreneurship not only spread throughout every corner of our campus, but ultimately spill out into the surrounding community and region. So we had a chance to visit before today a bit, and we talked about a framework that might help guide us in this discussion. Those key words from what we would call design thinking. Thinking about ideas, are they desirable? Are they feasible? Are they sustainable? And I know you all bring a lot to that topic. So I'd like to start with desirable and frame that a bit, and then just have each of you for a few minutes kind of jump in as you see fit and add on to each other's comments. But in general terms, a lot, when we talk about desirability, we're oftentimes focusing on the problem, certainly very specifically on the user that has that problem and how to best understand that. And some of you are coming at this from an industrial perspective, from a consulting perspective, possibly from a community or even faculty perspective. Talk to us a bit about that process of identifying the user and really beginning to understand what the problem is for them.
I think I'll jump in,
yeah.
just because I'm sitting close to Ted. I think you first have to learn how to listen to what the folks in the other organizations or other parts of the industry are interested in doing and where they see the needs and the gaps. So from a community perspective, if we're talking about building an innovation to address a problem, to really understand how that group of people who are affected by that problem are articulating it, what they see as the ways that they may be using it in the future, what their issues are with the existing list of tools or innovations that are available to them. So I think the first part for me would be, as you're addressing and listening to the problem, is to really take the time to understand who that user group is.
Fair enough.
And actually very interesting, because I guess in city planning there can be real problems that arise, and you try to find a solution. Often in the life sciences, people tend to create problems or think they have a problem where there is actually no problem. So one of the exercises to really do very early on is like, do we really solve a problem? I mean, do we need a next mousetrap? How many mice are there to catch? And again, what is the customer of this mousetrap? So it's very interesting to define a problem and not to create a problem.
The question would be, is it a problem worth solving?
Yeah.
In 3 words. And then, once you've got this bank of ideas, we talk about listening to the customer, and we call that VOC, voice of customer. Mm-hmm. And so you've got to find out from your customers, who would be hopefully buyers, is this a problem we're solving, and are we solving it the right way? What are the alternatives to this product? How is it done before? Ask those kinds of questions.